Hello, and welcome to Couch Time. My name is Martin.
I'm Sterling.
And I'm Daniel.
And tonight we're talking about role-playing games. Woo! I fucking did it! Now, before we get into our topic tonight of why we love role-playing games, we wanted to kind of preview a couple things on the horizon for our channel. The first and kind of most important thing we wanted to touch on is we're starting a Patreon page. Now, most of you probably know what a Patreon page is through other kind of content creators, but for those of you who don't, it's a website that allows you to donate money to support us in what we're doing. Now, we're not going to use this website to kind of fund what we're doing. We're not going to change the way we create content for you guys. What we're going to do is we're going to use this patron-funded money to continue to broaden our production and broaden our scope and broaden our audience with this money. We're going to use this to continuously increase the production and production value of the channel. The first things we want to do with this Patreon is to start podcasting. A lot of you guys have asked us about audio files of the campaigns we're running or the one-shots we're running, and we have some other content on backlog from other campaigns we played that we recorded audio from. So we want to bring audio content to you because a lot of you are able to consume role-playing content through audio a lot easier than you would through video, as it's easier to consume on the go. The other thing we want to use Patreon for is for building a website. As a YouTube channel, we don't terribly need a website just for producing videos, but we want to do more than that. We want to obviously podcast, and that requires a little bit more web service than something like YouTube would be able to do. We also are interested in blogging or interacting with our fans in unique ways, and also showcasing our talents in ways that might not be video, that might be consumable in different mediums. So that's what we're looking for early Patreon. Now, early Patreon, obviously we're looking at kickstarting it. We want to create a fun sort of start to our Patreon. We don't just want to ask for money and not give you guys anything in return. So we're going to be shaping rewards and our goals to kind of create something interesting for you guys, ways to interact with us uniquely, whether it be through role-playing games with us as a patron or through some sort of miniature painting or stuff like that. So we're working on rewards for that. But the big thing that I want to touch on is in the month of November, the three of us will be participating in a philanthropy called Movember. It's an international initiative to raise money and awareness for men's health issues. So we're going to be shaving our faces the 1st of November and growing mustaches throughout the month of November. And we're going to be using all the proceeds from the first month of our Patreon, and we're going to donate every penny from our first month of Patreon to the philanthropy Movember. So that's kind of the early Patreon stuff. Is we want to start podcasting, we want to start a website, and we're going to donate the entire first month's proceeds to a philanthropy. And to kind of kick off Patreon and build excitement for it, we're also going to be live streaming soon. October being a big horror month, we are very much excited to bring you not one, but 2 live streams back to back, Friday and Saturday, the weekend of Halloween. We're going to be running Dread that Friday night and 10 Candles on that Saturday night. We don't know the times for sure yet. Once we have the times locked down, we'll be tweeting about it, and I'll probably make an update video for that. So that's the big stuff that I wanted to touch on, the Patreon, Movember, and the live stream kickoff. I'm going to turn it over to Daniel to talk about some of the upcoming stuff for miniature painting that we have on the horizon.
Okay, so lately we've been doing a bunch of different tutorials, kind of rolling out a bunch of various content. I've been doing some painting for different stuff right now. We've got a video that's going to be coming out soon with actually some really old miniatures, ones that I actually had handed down to me by an uncle from the old era of D&D. We're also going to be filming our kind of basics tutorial series soon. We've actually got that scheduled, and we'll hopefully be cranking that out soon. So we'll be rolling out kind of a true starters tutorial so that you can pick up miniature painting if you have absolutely no idea how to start or have never even picked up a brush before. That's our goal. We want you to be able to pick up a set of paints and a set of brushes and a couple of models and have some fun. So we're going to be walking you through that entire process from start to finish.
And for those of you who have been kind of avid subscribers or subscribers for a long time and watching our miniature painting content, there's three kind of areas that we wanted to tackle. Is for those who don't have any experience, for those who have some experience but want to learn new techniques, and for those who are avid painters who are looking to see potential full paints to try and get new perspectives and stuff like that. And we've been working with another channel, talking back and forth with Heroes and Bosses. We'll put a card up here so you can see his channel. But we wanted to tackle the three different tiers of sort of expertise and provide content for everyone to enjoy, much like we try and do for the role-playing stuff as well. So, additionally, on the horizon, we have this, obviously, Star Wars Legacy of Ash campaign running right now. We just kicked off our second episode using the sort of naming nomenclature for the movies, obviously, episodes and stuff like that. So, I'm going to turn it over to Sterling to kind of talk about some of the Legacy of Ash updates or episodes or sessions on the horizon.
Yeah, so for those of you who have been following the crew of the Cobalt Crate, you know that we get into trouble very easily, and, well, that hasn't changed. In fact, we have a few adventures coming up taking place during a train heist that we've gotten into, that we're going in there.
There is stuff on the train. We're not going to clap sync this. We're just going to use it. So there's stuff on the train that the party needs to quite desperately get to. Obviously, we're not going to cover any spoilers. We still have these episodes forthcoming. So there's a train heist on the horizon, and there's also a pretty nasty battle where Bruto here
Some bad things happen.
Yeah, he gets laid pretty bare by a pretty nasty baddie. So there's some pretty crazy stuff going on. If you're watching Legacy of Ash and you're like, where the hell is this story going? We're getting there. we certainly have hit the point of the campaign where we have a lot of fun. And while that's all fun and good, there's also, I promise, I swear there's a story in there, and we're getting to it. And for those of you who watch Star Wars, sometimes you'll see us digress so far that the only way we reset is with the classic Star Wars. We get so far on a tangent and we just say Star Wars and we smile and nod. So you've probably seen that a couple times. If you haven't seen Legacy of Ash, we're about 17 or 18 episodes in now. You're not so far behind that you can't catch up or you can't get started. We have people finding the campaign every single day and commenting on our very first episode, which is like 5 months back, telling us how much they're enjoying it and how they love the production value, which I greatly appreciate. But just enjoying it and getting to see it. And we are going to hit some really cool stuff on the horizon with the train heist. And I almost killed Bruto. So that's a minor spoiler, but I'm not going to tell you how, and I'm not going to tell you when or where. So that's kind of it for the upcoming stuff. Obviously, we have Star Wars, we have miniature painting. Those 2 episodes come out every single week. And that takes a lot of time to put into, to build those episodes and to trim the fat, to make sure that we're not wasting your time as a viewer. So we take your time very serious, and we're always looking to not only entertain you, but bring new systems or new techniques or new hobbies to you. One last thing that I want to talk about before we get to our love for role-playing games is that since we've started this channel, we've had dozens, if not almost 100 comments on the content that we've produced. We've been doing this for 5 months, and it's really crazy to see not only how much you guys have fun watching our content, learn from our content, get excited about a new system, or kind of finally get pushed over the edge to go from interested in a role-playing system to playing it, or to seeing us have fun and wanting to kind of recreate that fun with your friends and growing the hobby that way, growing both hobbies that way. We have been overwhelmed not only by the comments, but by the channel growth. We were noticing earlier today that it's been 5 weeks since our last Couch Time, and the day we shot Couch Time, we were at 404 subscribers. And at the time of shooting this right now, we're 925. And in 5 weeks, we've more than doubled in our size and our audience, and that's just amazing. It's overwhelming at times to
It's
try
really incredible. I mean, we never thought we'd be reaching out to this many people, and we really, as Martin has said, we really appreciate all of your comments. We definitely read all of them at least once, usually twice or 3 times. We just love hearing from you, especially if you're enjoying what you're watching, you know, if it's the RPG content or the miniature painting content, if it's our couch time or our weird random update videos. We just love to hear from you. You know, part of what, I guess the whole thing that we do is to make this content for you guys. Mm-hmm. And so if you've got any feedback for us, just let us know. You know, like, if I'm painting something and you have a different method and you think it's better, tell me about it. You know, point me in a direction of how to learn it, and maybe I'll adapt it, maybe I'll make a tutorial about it. You know, I'm more than willing to entertain all these comments and all these constructive criticism, or even non-constructive criticism. I'm willing to entertain. Mostly, we just love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. When we started this channel, we really knew that the people who would be watching our content is an awesome community, and we wanted to provide a place where we could build and grow together as a community. And so we're really thankful for all the support that we have seen over these past few months.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things, too, is that we keep growing like this, and every single time people find these new videos, keep the tutorials coming up. Hey, I just found Legacy of Ash. Keep up the good work. I love the production value and stuff like that. It's awesome. And for those of you who have shared our channel or shared our videos with your friends, thank you so much, too, because I am the kind of YouTuber who consumes content. Well, before I started this channel, before it consumed my life, but I would just watch YouTube and watch YouTube and watch YouTube. And if I saw maybe 1 in 20 videos, I'd share with one of these guys or try and convince them to join the channel. So I was very much the passionate but kind of solo guy. And so anyone that shared the channel or shared a video with someone else has gone above and beyond what I would have done if I were in your shoes. So thank you for your comments. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for telling your friends. And without further ado, the topic!
Woo! Yay!
Yay! So we're going to be talking about, amongst everything we just talked about, what we love about role-playing games. Obviously, we just spent a lot of time talking about role-playing games and miniature painting, but our friendship, the glue that holds us together, or maybe not the glue that holds us together, because that's really cheap, I guess.
Chewed bubble gum.
I'm not going to hang out with you unless you guys play role-playing games with me. That's fair. No, we have forged our friendship through role-playing games, and it's not just forging our friendship, but we've experienced lives together, we've built worlds together, we've spent countless hours on this couch and other couches in the game room basement, or in the game room night, and talked about the adventures we have. And so this is such a passionate hobby of ours that we wanted to talk a little bit about why we love role-playing games and what we love about them and how they've changed us. I'll let Sterling start with what we love about role-playing games and some of the aspects of them.
Awesome. Personally, role-playing games have become such a huge part of my life. Just from the moment I started playing them, there was something about them that I didn't ever get through video games or TV or board games or any of the other hobbies that I had ever had. And I think that's really the storytelling. You get to build and grow as characters and in these worlds, and you know, it's dark and gritty and fantastical and epic, and there's just no better way to experience I think fantasy than through the eyes of role-playing, than experiencing it literally for yourself. So I think that's one of the biggest loves that I have for it.
For me, it's the ability to literally sit down at a table and step out of you and step into anything else. You know, you can, through various systems, do anything from being a swashbuckling pirate to a torturous human barbarian to like
Being the voice in somebody else's brain.
A humble technician on a waylaid ship in space.
carrying pocketfuls of bolts. You can do anything when you sit down at that table. And we started playing RPGs when we were in college. And there was no better way to unwind from a long, hard week than to sit down and literally step away from your life. And a lot of that still holds true now, that we're beyond that college age and
Adulting is hard.
working and getting
Yeah.
old and
No. Getting Lego hair.
Lego area.
Yeah. No, and for me, one of the things that I've always loved about role-playing games is ever since I was young, I was always a storyteller. I always had an overactive and very vivid imagination. I started writing my first book when I was in 6th grade. Walking home from school with a friend of mine, we would just make these stories up as we walked, and just creating worlds, creating heroes, creating villains. And a lot of that early stuff was kind of becoming the person that you always wanted to be but couldn't be because of the world, or you didn't have superpowers or whatever. Like escaping into something else, being something else, living a life that's grand or that's humble or that's trapped in a different time or in a different setting. For me, I've always been that storyteller, and I went to college and I got a degree in creative writing, which is about as useful as finger painting sometimes, but at the same time, now I'm a videographer and I use my video as a storytelling medium. And through this YouTube channel, I am a storyteller as well. So I spend at least 40 hours, if not sometimes 80 hours, telling stories for an audience, telling stories with my friends, telling stories that I'm passionate about. And that's one thing that I love about role-playing games, is that when you sit down together at a table and you start role-playing, you're being social, something you don't get from video games sometimes. You're being creative, something you don't get when you're just staring at a television. You're forging memories, something that you wouldn't maybe get from playing board games. I play a lot of board games too, and sometimes you remember a board game, but most times you just do it to unwind, you do it to win, you do it to overcome an overwhelming obstacle. But I've never had that many couch times where we sat down and we talk about, oh, remember that one board game we played? Because we played board games a lot and the memories kind of meld together. But I can bring up a role-playing memory from 5 years ago, and we'll all sit here for the next 20 minutes and revel in how crazy it was, or how exciting it was, or how outlandish, or how ridiculous. And that's one of the things that I love about role-playing games, is you're being social, you're being creative, and you're forging memories that will last you the rest of your life. One of the things that we wanted to talk about too is also, how have they changed us? How have they shaped us? You can create worlds and you can create these people, but without knowing it, or sometimes with it happening subtly, these things create a change in yourself, right? I mean, for anyone who's role-played, you might have seen that you've grown more confident, or more charismatic, or at least less socially awkward, or less shy. These things change you because you're sitting down with a group of people and talking and doing these things and building something constructively. So I'm going to let Daniel talk about how role-playing games have either changed you or kind of made your life different or better or whatever.
I have always been an incredibly shy person. Always. Growing up as a kid, I wouldn't go and talk to people. You know, I didn't have many friends. I just stayed in my shell. And when I went to college and I met these guys, and we started playing these RPGs, kind of as just in coupling, I'd say, with my growth as an adult, I began to shed that shell. And while often I still find myself in it, you know, there are times when I just can't bear to be out in a crowd. I found that the strength and confidence I've learned through RPGs has given me the ability to pull on a mask, if you will. A mask to be able to put on a face and be able to really tell people what they want to hear, or kind of convey things that I'm not feeling. I'm not saying that I'm just like a compulsive liar or anything. I'm just saying that, like, job interviews are a great way I can, I guess, describe
That's exactly
this.
what I was thinking.
You have confidence. You know, you can meet their eye, and even if the person that you're talking up, yourself, you're trying to sell yourself, even if you don't believe anything you're saying, if you can look them in the eye confidently and just spout bullshit, they'll be more inclined to believe it. And if anything, that confidence for me mostly came from RPGs. Because we've done some pretty terrible and crazy things in the time I've been playing with these guys. And it's... I don't know. That kind of experience is a hard thing to get in any other place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel brought up the thing with job interviews, and that was a topic that I was kind of thinking of. A few campaigns ago, I played a character named Asher, who was almost this arrogant,
Self-absorbed. yeah.
self-absorbed.
He was like a medieval Remy.
Shut up. I only play one character now.
Yeah.
No, but he was this very self-absorbed person, and I remember there was a time when I was doing a lot of interviews, and I guess I kind of was able to channel his confidence. I think a lot of people who roleplay are probably shy to begin with, mostly because growing up, their hobbies weren't encouraged.
Socially acceptable.
Socially acceptable, you know, fantasy,
We
wizards,
grew up in a time
dragons.
when nerds weren't cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I had two nerdy friends, and when I bought Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition, I didn't tell them about it because I was so, like, worried or ashamed that until I read through the player's handbook and got so fucking excited about it, I told one friend and then I made him promise not to tell the other friend, and he read the player's handbook and he got excited for it, and he's like, we have to tell Kent. And then we told Kent, and then we were all on the same page, but it took me like a week before my other two friends were even on the same page, and we were all nerds and we were best friends together, and so, like, even growing up being socially awkward nerds or whatever, it was still kind of difficult because Dungeons and Dragons had such a bad stigma growing up, and now it's finally hit this point where so many people are getting invested in it and learning about role-playing games. It's an amazing time to be a role player.
Yeah. But it's been great for me as a person. It's made me more confident and made me not want to hide my passions as much. And I just can't thank it enough for really shaping me. I mean, I served for 2 years in the Philippines teaching religion that I believe in to the people there, and I think RPGs have done more for my confidence than talking to strangers every day for 2 years did. And, you know, there's just something that, in the power of RPGs, I mean, it changes who you are. It gets you talking and communicating and working together with other people, which, I mean, if if everyone could work together the way they do in role-playing games, we'd probably be in a worse place, but...
Yeah, there'd be a lot of debauchery, I suppose.
Chaotic evil.
You're evil and a whore. Gamers 2. If you guys haven't seen Gamers 2, it's,
Watch Gamers
yeah,
2.
it's,
Watch
it's
it.
pure perfection, especially for role players. So, one of the things that that I kind of gravitated towards role playing games for is, like I said, I've always been a storyteller, but when I was younger, I struggled really bad with depression, and I still do. But role playing games helped me become the person that I wanted to be, but that I couldn't be. And so, not to get dark, I'm not going to linger on this long, but role-playing games and storytelling have really helped me through those tough times. It really helped me create a world where I could live in, that I could be happy with myself, and that I could be happy with my surroundings. And another thing that it's helped me do, too, is I've always been kind of a little bit more of a social butterfly, especially these guys kind of attesting to how shy they were. When I grew up, I moved a lot. When I was going through grade school, I must have moved at least a dozen times and switched a lot of school districts. So I didn't have a lot of time to make friends, and the friends that I did make, I didn't keep very long. So I didn't have an opportunity. I had kind of like a crossroads where I could be shy, or I could just be ridiculously
Compensating.
yeah, just like talking to as many people, trying to be as friends with as many people as possible. So when I did make friends, yes, they were fleeting, but they made a moment. They were like a flashbulb. If you're writers out there, you know that some characters are like flashbulbs. They shine brightly and then they're gone. And that's how a lot of my childhood friendships were until I got into high school and then eventually college and met friends like these. But for me, role-playing games were finally a medium to take my experiences and take my want to share stories and my social butterflyness and turn that into something productive, turn that into something magnificent, and to forge stories and make memories that will last me a lifetime. So anyways, that's how role-playing games have kind of shaped me and shaped us. And we've been playing together for at least 5 years, and God willing, we're going to be playing for the next 5 years, and even more so, we hope that it will be through this channel. So anyways, that's our couch time for tonight. I think we're going to wrap it up so we can get back to sleeping, recharging in an outlet, or editing content, or whatever we do when we're not making ridiculous videos. So tell us how you're enjoying all this content and what brought you here and stuff like that. So
Let us know why you love RPGs and how they've made you better
Absolutely.
and different in the comments below as well.
cool. We did it. We'll do one more for the road.
For the road? Are we leaving now? Is that it? Are we done?
That's a wrap. Cool. Are you serious right now, dude? What are you doing? I will put your ass upstairs.
Coming up for cuddles, that's why.
Hi.
Come on.
Hi. We're seriously going to do this right now?
Get on up
Hi.
here.
Yeah. Come on up.
There's room behind old
Yeah.
Dan.
Are we shooting like this?
Hop a squat, Chief.
Are we going to do this? Is this a real thing? Like, do we want this in our second episode of Couch Time?
Do you even
Do you have the fortitude for 40 minutes of nerd talk?
No. No, he does not.
No, he does not. I just have a feeling like we're going to have to put you upstairs.
I'm not going to make eye contact.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome.
My bad.
Every single time I start, Daniel has to pop
You gotta
bones.
give me a countdown.
All right, here we go. Every time I... you motherfucker.
I got a lot more, Martin.
All right, here we go. Hi. And stuff.
Who the fuck am I?
I keep wanting to say welcome to Nerds and Stuff, but we need to say welcome to Couch Time.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Couch Time. My name is Martin.
That was a bad one.
This
Sorry,
is
I was
couch
like
time.
wiping my
Welcome to
mouth.
Martin.
I was
Wait,
like
what?
wiping my mouth, and then I
Okay,
forgot what
everybody
was
put your
going on.
fucking hands on your lap.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Don't touch your face when I'm introing the show. That's...
We weren't introing. You just jumped into it, and my hand was already up
I
here.
clap sync forever ago. That means all hands on deck. Now
What are you doing?
He's just making outro. This is all outro. This is fine. He just wants the blooper sound in between each. But I told him that we're gonna have to change topics to get the blooper sound.
Boop.
Okay. I'm not gonna insert the boop. You're just gonna look like an idiot and
Start
just say
making
boop.
noise.
Okay. All right. I'm clap syncing. Get your shits together. Cool. All right. What do I say? And tonight we're talking about roll to the motherfucking playing games.
Boop.
All right.
I forgot to woo
Good thing we shot a good
because it's
one a
role
while
playing to
ago.
the motherfucking games is the problem. It's not roll to the fucking playing games. Because it's role playing. That's all a hyphenated word. You can't insert fucking in there.
Why is
Sure
it-
you do. You
why
just
is
add
it not
more
just
hyphens.
RGs?
What?
Because role playing is hyphenated.
It is. It should
Why isn't it
be.
just RGs?
It should be. Yeah. Why is scuba though?
That actually has a
I know,
full
I know.
definition.
Yeah, self-contained
Why is
underwater
laser
breathing
laser
apparatus. What?
Why is laser laser?
We're defining.
It's an acronym
Why-
as well.
why-
We're
is X-ray
defining
X-ray?
scuba right now. You are 3 talking points ahead. Okay. All right. All right. Seriously, though? Seriously?
I'm
Okay.
sitting on a crack.
I'm on crack.
I sell crack.
Oh, shit.
Do you think
But mostly Sterling's crack. I'm pregnant with your alien baby. There, I said it. It's out of my system. It's just RPGs. We can't spoil all the beans.
Okay.
Thanks for picking up.
RPGs is so broad.
I know. That's how we get them,
That's gonna be our topic like every week.
and that's the joke.